Number 3 in this draft is San Francisco. Last night, our Chris Mortensen told us what he's hearing.
What I am hearing is that this is Mac Jones, and it's in the 90th percentile in terms of likely to be picked. There, when they made that trade from 12 to 3, that was the pick. But there was a 10% margin there, and I trying to sort out, well, who's got the advantage between Trey Lance and Justin Fields on that remaining percentage. I was told Trey Lance probably over Justin Fields, but this Mac Jones, right now, you would have to put your money down. I know Vegas says differently, that it will be Mac Jones.
Well, this just is the story that will not go away. The certainty or lack thereof involved in this situation. I'm trying to decide if, okay, I was trying to decide if your shot had frozen or you're just sitting there with your eyes closed like that. I have to come to you first. I was going to ask Dan what he's hearing, but RC, I have to come to you because I genuinely thought your shot was frozen for a second. Now I see you're just exasperated.
You know, Greeny, I've sat at home. I had 2 weeks off, so I just get to watch the shows, right? I get to watch Get Up, and I get to see all the reports of Mac Jones going at 3. And I remember I was so excited when the 49ers moved up because I was like, oh my gosh, they know Zach Wilson's going 2. We obviously all knew Trevor Lawrence was going number 1. I was like, they are moving up to get freaking Justin Fields. This is going to be amazing. Kyle Shanahan, the motion of that offense, the boot, the run pass option. And then people keep saying Mac Jones. This is not the Ryan Clark wants to bash Mac Jones. I believe that Mac Jones can be a good quarterback. I just want you to tell me what quarterback that plays like Mac Jones, that's built like Mac Jones, that has the type of measurables that Mac Jones has been drafted recently, and that's very good. Now look at the dudes that can move. Look at the dudes that can create. Look at the dudes that cause problems athletically. Those are the people that are taking over this league. If you ain't 35, right, and you don't have that wisdom and that experience, you cannot be a, nope, take that back. If you ain't 43, you cannot be a statue in the pocket and be successful now. Which means if you ain't Tom Brady, you ain't supposed to go in the top 5 if you play like Mac Jones. So the fact that Mort can say it is 90% is crazy to me. When you make this move, Greeny, when the Prince on Cinderella, right, when he had the ball and he danced with Cinderella, he was not looking for another chick that could almost fit the shoe, Greeny. He wanted the shoe to fit her because she was the one. Mac Jones ain't the one. You don't do all that. You don't ride around the city to find a girl who wear 8.5 when the glass shoe is 8. Mac Jones ain't the third pick. That's where I stand. If the 49ers do it, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
RC.
Go ahead, Dad.
RC, listen, you've been at home watching it. I've been a participant of this madness for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and you talk about the shoe. I'm telling these people, like, you gotta understand, if Mac Jones is the guy, say you're a bachelor, you watch The Bachelor, if you have the guy, the girl, and you have your ring, and you purchase the ring, you're going to give it to that girl if you're locked into that girl and she's the one. If you entertain any other females, then you're not locked into her. She is not the one. You're not going to give her that ring. I've been trying to tell all of these analysts on Get Up that for the past 2 weeks. I said, Justin Fields is in play. Don't believe what you hear. Believe what you see. Kyle Shanahan doesn't have any free time to just be flying across the country just to appease somebody to check a box.
What else you gonna do, Dennis?
Justin Fields in Columbus. If he was going to give the ring to Mac Jones, he's not going to entertain any other women in this situation. No, he's entertaining these other players because they're in play. Because they gave up so much, RC, you will have to assume that Justin Fields is their likely pick.
So this is another analogy we've made here. We've had restaurant dishes. We've had a million different analogies. Yeah. They all work. Here's the question I have for you then, RC. And Dan, I'm coming to you in a minute on the information piece of this. But RC, just in principle, the idea of trading up and giving up as much as they did without having certainty of who you want, would you have an issue with that? If they went up there and did not have a certainty of who would, you would?
Absolutely, Greeny. When you make that move, when you understand who the top 2 picks are going to be, and you make that move to number 3, you make that move knowing that you have your guy. You've had an opportunity to look at all the film. You've seen 2019. You've seen 2020. You know who that dude is. Who fits perfectly for you? Whose ceiling is the highest? Who can win the San Francisco 49ers a Super Bowl? I feel like everything that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan has done has been to build the perfect team, been to build the team that is in the likeness and the image of Kyle Shanahan. You know what completes that team? Justin Fields. Justin Fields completes that team. And so if you are moving up and you are, like Desmond said, you came with 20 roses and you don't know who you want to give the one particular rose to, then you have made a mistake and you're setting your organization up for failure.
Let me then go to Graziano in all of this, because at the end of the day, Vegas thinks what it thinks, and we all think what we think.
Well,
but the only one person's opinion matters on this at the end of the day, and that's Kyle Shanahan. So what are we hearing about that, Dan?
correct. Yeah, I mean, look, those Vegas odds you put up at the beginning, like I'd like Lance at that price. I know we're not a gambling show, but that seems to be the best bang for your buck. Look, Kyle Shanahan will make the decision. I don't agree with RC that he had to know who it was when he made the deal. Kyle Shanahan believes he can make pretty much anybody a successful quarterback. Nick Mullins, in 16 career starts, has 4,700 yards and 25 touchdowns, right? He was undrafted. So you look at the people who have the talent of the people we're talking about. Kyle Shanahan, I think, believes he could win with any of the 3, and he just has to figure out which one is the best. My understanding, as recently as Monday when we were talking about this on the show, was that no decision had been reached, that there was still a discussion going on in the 49ers building. And I think Mort's reporting reflects that. It may be that Mac Jones was the guy they had in mind when they made the trade, and certainly what you hear when you talk to people close to this situation and around this situation is Mac Jones, Mac Jones, Mac Jones. But I've also been told, as recently as 48 hours ago, that no final decision had been made. And there's a lot that points, I know everybody likes Justin Fields, and I do too. There's a lot that points to Trey Lance as a guy that could be the 49ers pick, that fits more with what they do in terms of his experience under center and play action and all that kind of stuff you like to see in a Kyle Shanahan offense. I go back to December when Josh Allen and the Bills beat Kyle Shanahan's 49ers, and Kyle said all kinds of great stuff before and after that game about what a quarterback like that with that kind of athletic ability offers an offense. And I keep thinking about Trey Lance when I think about those comments.
Me too. Look, we're all over the board now, because I've been saying all along I think Lance is the guy.
We got all
will
three.
Find out. We'll leave it there for the moment. I want to get to other things, but we will come back to this. Let's get to, how about them Cowboys? Dallas with the 10th pick in this draft. The big question heading in here is, what will they do? The expectation, of course, is they will go defense, because their defense was just horrendous last year. But here was Stephen Jones on 105.3 The Fan yesterday saying the team's options are relatively open.
Certainly that's one of the goals in this draft, is to improve defensively. And then, as you said, if the right guy presents himself,